Hello and welcome back to another episode of Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed. And now, after winning that fight against all those thugs, we now find our man, Jonas Takabayashi. Join us. And he's just standing here in the park. No one can find him in the entirety of Akibahara, but he's just standing here in this park, except for this guy. So as you can tell, this guy, from his weird animations and his angry stances, is gonna be someone we have to beat up. So we're gonna go up to this guy and be like, yeah, you can't force this guy to make comics anymore. And he's gonna get really mad at us and attack us, and then this other guy's gonna show up. Now of course I got sucker punched, and that wasn't exactly helpful. So this guy fights with his fists, which is surprisingly more annoying than I would have expected. Why I didn't just go ahead and use Unison Strip on this guy, I'm not really sure why. I really could have, and probably brought this encounter to a much shorter and brief period, but I wasn't really feeling it. I wanted to save it, so I just decided to go full on, just hit this guy. Unfortunately, he was a lot better at hitting me than I was hitting him, and of course I was trying to hit his headgear, which was incredibly annoying. His headgear was almost down to durability for pulling, however it wasn't, and because I didn't want to lose any of mine, I decided to heal up. Of course, the AI doesn't really recognize that you're healed until after a certain period, so he tried to pull off my clothing, which didn't work. And of course, thankfully, the parry strip is very useful for moments like these, especially for headgear when grabbing isn't exactly convenient. So we found him. Join us, Takabayashi, the Stripism comic artist. And this hero of great culture, we have to give him a little bit of a pep talk to bring him back so that he'll make more fan comics, and so Nana will pay me, and we can consider this quest a done deal. So he's been a little disillusioned, been a little set down. He thinks he's betrayed the series he loves so much. I think he's betrayed his craft. So, but we gotta give him some inspirational words that an artist can really take to heart. And of course, we're gonna talk about interpretation, and that's hitting it on the head. And of course, now that we're gonna bring him back to the light, he's gonna get really easily convinced by our heroism and acts of great merit, and he's gonna go back and draw more stuff, and that's exactly what we want. So now that he's gonna go back and draw fan comics again, we can consider this quest done and done. So we're gonna check this email really quick. It's about the Cosplay Fest, which is incredibly relevant. Trust me, very relevant. And of course, they're talking about Mogro, which is the place we're from. And they're talking about how Pops is very shady, which is not hard to believe. So now that we're gonna flip through this Pitter thread, we're finally gonna go back to Mogro. But at first, instead of going to the main Mogro complex, I'm gonna go into Nana's room and finish up that quest. So now that she has seen Jonas Takabayashi, the man, the legend, come back, we can consider this quest done and our duties paid. And now it is time for an interesting period of time where we have absolutely no side missions. And it's due to this long main mission strand. So, the Cosplay Fest email ties directly into what we're about to do here. Now, first we're going to talk about the Daishihon thugs thing, which of course was unfortunate and relevant as well. So the first things first is we gotta address that. And we gotta talk about these mysteries. Why is Rin here? Why does she know Shizuku? What is Rin doing with all those thugs? And instead, Kati's gonna jump straight in, just, head first, and we're gonna get Akiba Cosplay Fest pamphlets. That's right. We are going to the Akiba Cosplay Fest, and it can only end in one beautiful, violent way, and that's right, with a battle. But first, we have to go through what I can only call a montage of relatable anime watching and all sorts of wild dialogue. So finally, this entire game we've been getting glimpses, hints, and references to stripperism, an anime that doesn't exist and we don't know anything about, but in this game is very important. So stripperism is the hit Akiba anime, the true sponsorship of justice in Electric Town. And so the plan is Shizuku, Toko, and Kati are gonna cosplay the stripperism girls. And that's going to ensue in a long watching session of all 48 episodes of the show. Which, of course, we're not really going to watch 48 episodes of an anime, but they're going to go through a somewhat of a training montage, thanks to Nana's convenient Blu-ray box set that probably cost a lot of money. A lot of money. So, this is one of the longer cutscenes in the game, mostly because it's just all a montage of them watching the show and all sorts of setup for the cosplay fest stuff. So it's all a big kind of a big punchline to the real point of what we're doing, which is kind of a detour from the whole plot. The game's trying to get us to a fun, happy-go-lucky side plot so that we can avoid having to talk about thugs and corporate politics and you know, evil. So we're gonna go in here with the nice TVs and we're gonna watch 48 whole episodes of stripperism. Oh yeah. And there's nothing much more I could say about that other than we're gonna get some interesting dialogue about this. A lot of Toko whining, a lot of Shizuku intensity, and of course we get talked about here. And it's one of those last episode things, you know. Only anime fans will get this last episode joke. Wink, wink. But yes, the great Mahou Shoujo magical girl experience is about to commence. And this next mission. Well, let's get sidetracked a little bit. The next mission here that we're actually gonna do after all this is pretty much exactly like the concert. Basically, we're gonna go to an event. It's gonna be kind of cutscene-like. We're gonna get, like, you know, a lot of flair and a lot of character, and it's, you know, it's fun. It's all in good fun. And then we're gonna get put in the middle of the street. You know, we're gonna be put on Main Street. And we're gonna fight like a big brawling style battle against several people. And it's gonna be very open because we're in the middle of the street, which is nice. It's better to have an open arena than otherwise. But it's a pretty much just a standard combat mission. However, there's literally nothing else to do in between all of it, so there's no side missions until we're done with the Akiba Cosplay Fest. But the first thing we have to do is deliver a package, which we'll get after this viewing montage has ended. I think it is a very relatable experience for people who've watched anime or long anime. I mean, 48 episodes isn't hugely lengthy, but it's still longer than most standard. Very relatable experience of long build-up periods of them getting to the point, bad last episodes, the melancholy of finishing a series. Truly, it's an experience for people like me who have wasted away their time watching anime more often than they would like to admit. But yes, we're halfway there, and now we're pretty much at the end of this montage. They were there for 18 hours, which is more than I think I could do. I don't know. They probably had a few breaks, maybe. Though it's inferred that they didn't have any breaks, but... So the big punchline here is the last episode's bad, and even though they're touched, and truly they'll miss the show, even though the last episode is absolutely terrible. And after this jingly music ends, and after this joke finally reaches its climax, Pops is gonna bust in and give us a very simple mission. Very, very simple. And all we have to do is go to Junk Street and deliver a package. Now the point of this package is that it's gonna waive the Akiba Cosplay Fest entry fee, so we don't have to pay any money to go cosplay and win an award, which is a very important plot point, as you can imagine, as this entire game has been centering around this Akiba Cosplay Fest. Yeah, no, we're just gonna get a nice detour, and it's gonna be fun. It's a little lengthy, as you can tell. And so, as Nana goes to do the cosplay, finally, we're gonna get some player interaction. I'm having flashbacks to the first episode again. I'm having flashbacks back to the only cutscene episode. But yes, we're gonna have to go into a combat situation alone, and of course, lone cosplay situations. Lone combat situations are very dangerous, mostly due to the fact that as I've explained, no unison strip, no backup, no one to take hits, no one to make hits. So our delivery will not go as smoothly as we would want it to. But it is finally player interaction now that they've hit this point home about stripperism. So to give this guy an arcade board, we're gonna not have to pay any money. So finally we get back into player control. There are no side missions, as you can check, though I went to check anyway, just in case. But I had a feeling. So over here in Junk Street, we're gonna get thrown right into a combat situation right off the bat, as I've explained. It's about four people here. However, it's still annoying, mostly because Junk Street is narrow. The narrowness of the level itself kind of lends to an annoying battle structure because I'm fighting like a 4-on-1 in a narrow alleyway. I remember this mission very vividly because I know I've been trapped in the alleyway and gotten like destroyed. And of course, I tried to go in for a jab there, didn't quite work, and a strong attack which hit the wrong person. When you get, like, you know, quadruple teamed or more, doing parries is a lot harder, mostly due to parry windows messing up depending on target. However, I try to do some keep away strats. I'm kind of trying to field them a little bit so they don't get too close to me and I can't get 2-on-1'd as easily. So I'm going for hits and mostly backing out when I'm getting a little too deep into the crowd. Now luckily, as you noticed there, I've pretty much already taken out one person, so we've only got 3 people left, which leaves not too much left to deal with. The guy with the medicine ball looking thing is probably the most annoying due to the fact that he's really insistent. However, it's very easy to parry him. Now we're down to only 2 people left. That girl's got headgear, and of course I'm going to take care of that as soon as possible. And after taking care of her, we just have this guy left. And luckily, I somehow got a bonus chain going, so with the added damage, it pretty much evened out. So now, I thought I had to go somewhere, but no, I was just waiting for the cutscene to load. And thankfully, that is the solo encounter here before we get to deliver this arcade board so that we can waive our entry fees and go to Akiba Cosplay Fest with no debt in mind. So now we get to go to the Akiba Cosplay Fest, and it's about as exciting of an event as you could imagine. Now this guy, whose name I'm still not gonna even try to pronounce, is messaging us again. Probably has a wrong number. I think that's the big joke here, because at what point have I gone to the arcade in this game yet? So Pops is pretty happy about that. He feels very in debt. And so Kati, Shizuku, and Toka have already gone away to the Akiba Cosplay Fest. And lucky for us, we get to go to cosplaying as ourselves, which is a very high honor. And we got a message from Kati and Toko. Kati's happy, Toko's embarrassed, and I'm ready to go beat some people up, which is inevitably what's going to happen. Now, the first thing I decided to do was go to Radio Kaikon and buy some microphones. I think it's time for some upgrading. Even though what I'm about to do is not exactly a difficult mission, I thought, you know, if I'm about to go and do a big event, might as well bring some power with me. So, with the generous amount of money I have that I barely spend, thinking maybe we should go upgrade the microphone a little bit more, give it a little bit more of a punch. So, we're going to go back to Nana's room and get that done, because she's not gone. She's still here, and luckily we can upgrade before going over to the Akiba Cosplay Fest over on Main Street. So, The open battle, of course, is nice because not only will I be fighting, Shizuku, Toko, and Kati will all be fighting. So it's a 4-on crowd in the middle of Main Street, which is nice. And it lends for a pretty simple fight. It's not going to be anything to sweat about. But I do like that I've upgraded my microphone to a Super DX microphone. I think it's at about 600 strength now. The maximum you can max at a weapon at, as I may have mentioned before, is 999. So we are heading in that direction. By the time the game is over, it's very likely my microphone will be at max power. So as you can see, Kati, Shizuku, and Toko are now in cosplay uniform. They are ready to get going with this festival. Toko's very, very lost. Very, very lost in her cosplay abilities. And of course, the Akiba experience is coming out. The great essence of cosplay in the streets. The otaku spirit in the air. And this great jingly music playing all the time. And of course, my wishes to have been part of the cosplay are answered with a fursuit request. Which I don't know about that, boys. I don't know. So these guys, who aren't evil, though they have like the models of people who are not always used as synthesizers, I hear. So they're gonna do a pose. We're gonna get another CG here, and it's gonna be of them doing the stripperism pose. Truly an inspirational formation. And Toko really nails her line there, as you can tell. And Shizuku, her seriousness, her soberness, truly coming out. And here is the pose of a lifetime, the format, and everyone, they're feeling the energy, and it's very, very inspiring. And Akiba's Trip likes to do this, like, yeah, this is a game about fighting and stripping vampires, but you know, it's Akiba, so why don't, you know, cosplay, man? And cosplay, man. We're gonna go to a cosplay festival. That's what it's all about. So Shizuku, with her true sense of evil, due to being, you know, superhuman, senses the synthesizers in the crowd out and about, here to ruin the Akiba Cosplay Fest experience, which would be heartbreaking. And naturally, the only course of action is for us to go confront them. So we gotta go, you know, lay down the law. Because all these shady-looking guys in military garb, very interesting choice of wear out and about in the open streets. These guys with military gear and headbands are not very happy. And of course, Shizuku still in perfect cosplay mode, not ever breaking role, method acting at its finest, outdoing all great method actors in history, is ready to fight these boys. And so everyone thinks it's an event. They don't think it's an actual fight. So we're gonna give them the performance of a lifetime here in the street. So we got these military guys who, of course, I'm immediately just gonna use Unison Strip and make this easy for me. So I've done short work of one guy, and I've already gotten this girl all the way down completely. And of course, that means I'm just gonna knock her out. And of course, thanks to Shizuku and Toko and some of the collateral damage from Unison Strip, there was more stripping I could do on other enemies. Of course, as you can see, we're getting kind of in the middle of a group, which is never a smart idea. However, the power of the parry strip, along with parry windows being very generous to me, has allowed me to not get too damaged. However, I did take a strong attack there. As you can tell, it kind of incapacitated my foot. These guys in the corner are pretty much almost damaged. However, I'm going to use Shizuku to pretty much take this guy out immediately, so I can go over here and get a lot more stripping done. I'm trying to whittle down numbers as fast as possible, and so not to keep this encounter from going on any longer than it has to. I mean, this whole cosplay arc, I'll call it an arc just to make it sound really important. This whole cosplay arc is very long. It's very drawn out. I don't mind that. Though it makes it hard to talk about really anything that's happening other than the obvious things. And the obvious anime relatability. Truly, if you can appreciate the art of cosplay and anime, which you may, if you like or want to play this game or have played this game, you probably appreciate it on some degree, or maybe you just wanted to play a game about stripping people and you just didn't care about standards. All choices are pretty valid, but here, pretty much I just want to clean this up. We're pretty much almost done. In fact, I think that is it. Yeah, we just took them all out pretty quickly. And I want to go around and picking up money, mostly because I want the money. I don't really want the other added-on things, but I will take the 1,000 yen. I will take some of the other bonus stuff, just in case it becomes important later. So, the photographers are very, very enthralled by our beautiful performance. The stripperism performance, truly well received, and everybody is very happy about it and not scared or realizing the fact that that was an actually real fight in which we actually beat up people and stripped them in daylight, and they actually turned into like toxic clouds of smoke. But of course, the devil's in the details. So we're gonna get out of that pretty scot-free because they don't know what we really did, and we're gonna get a trophy out of it. Shizuku's newfound love for cosplay has been bloomed through this beautiful event, and we get to walk away with a trophy and with smiles, and I think that is a great thing. I think it's great to walk away with some smiles in the middle of this game when, you know, we're stopping vampires from sucking the energy out of living people. It's truly the detour we needed in this gloomy, dark, dismal game where everything is always so sad and so pallid. Thank God for Akiba's trip. Anyways, after that final conclusion, I gotta say, that's gonna do it for this episode of Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed. After we flip through this Pitter thread about the Cosplay Fest, and which we're being complimented for our great performance. Alright, anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope you'll stick around for more episodes, and I'll see you next time.